Hi there viewers, and welcome to this week's Planet Watch or Earth Watch using the Psi cards devised by Carl Jung, or devised under the realm of Carl Jung. Just a quick recap over last week's cards, which we have in front of us there. There was the Warrior, the No, the Scales, the Father, the Never, and the Stranger. Now, during the week I mentioned that I felt that there would be an issue about looking to the skies due to the Father card. And I also said there was something about possibly the warrior up high up in the hills. There was some sort of surge of energy coming in behind him on that card. There were a few strange anomalies for the week. There was the Korean missile, of course, was let off that day, and it fell back down to earth, was sort of plundered in its act. It never actually got to happen. The Indians also let off a missile as well, which is to do with their potential nuclear policies. There were some bright fireballs noted across the skies, and there was one of the largest flares in recent years that was emitted from the sun during the week of last week. There were a few strange plane incidents. There was a small plane that plunged into the Gulf of Mexico with a gynae doctor on board, and had been circling and had no radio contact for 6 hours, and then the aeroplane just eventually plunged into the sea. Now, there was also a US military jet that crashed in Afghan, killing. The No and the Never cards, I'm thinking now, that could have just been that Korean missile, which was a lot of hype around that as to be a really problem matter. It never actually got off the ground, so I'm thinking, was that what those cards were portraying in the end? And the Stranger also had a bit of a military feel. I think it's like that glove there on the Stranger's hand. It's almost as if that was like the Iron Hand. It does look like a really thick glove, and I think then of perhaps communist. You know, when you think of the term the Iron Hand and you think of a communist feel, there was a lot of communist activity during the week regards the whole Korean issue and all their military and the messages that were coming out of there. Regards the trees, we did have some very strange botanical issues going on here in New Zealand that we've noted. A lot of our trees are flowering out of season when they shouldn't be, and they're also producing unusual style of flowering on some of them, and seed pods that I haven't actually noticed before. So there seem to be some changes going on, and I did suggest, was it an out of balance with the scale? I still think there is something out of balance on the earth that a lot of us are just a little bit unaware of. So anyhow, moving on those cards from last week, we come into this week's. We've got the Stars, Yes, the Moon, the Tower, the Sage. So if we work with those ones, it's pretty obvious here they're pointing again up to the skies, but more specifically the planets and the stars. Perhaps there's an alignment coming for this week. I haven't actually looked. I'm not sure what alignments are around, or there may be something to do with the moon. That's the Tower card, which we've definitely indicated as being, when that comes out, we seem to say there is a bigger than usual quake around the world. So we notice sort of earthquakes up around that 7 mark, or possibly a little bit higher. And it can also mean pertaining to going to higher ground, may indicate you're a little bit safer. So I definitely feel there's some sort of alignment going on, or something happening with the stars and the planets, looking up into the stars at night. It may even indicate that people already know about it, like it might be an unusual occurrence that's already noted, because the Sage, he here is the indicator of, and interestingly enough, he's got a book open, and on his book is a geometrical pattern very similar to the stars pattern, and it's almost as if there's knowledge around this whole event that's going to occur, or particular events that might be occurring. So it's possibly in countries where there is protocol underway to help if there are any adverse side effects from it. So sort of more established countries this time. And there could be a few people trapped. That's what I'm thinking, because the very last card that came out was the Prison card, which just shows, or has a feeling of entrapment about it. So hey everyone, thanks very much for watching. Hope you all have a wonderful week. Keep safe, keep happy, and be well.